Jackie Kashian, Laurie Kilmartin.
Laurie,
Jacqueline.
you got dates? You got dates that are
Let's
memorized?
Get these out. Yeah, because I don't have any new ones. So, you know what? I'll just repeat what you've heard. This Friday, I'm in D.C. at the City State Brewery. This Saturday at 4:30, after the Penn State game, I found out the Penn State game is at noon.
Oh, good.
I'm on a 4:30. I'm headlining a 4:30 show at Helium in Philly.
Wow.
And then
Are you driving? No. Anyway,
taking the train.
I'm going to write down my questions. So sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yes, that's right. And then next week, the 7th, I'm in Eugene, Oregon. The 8th, I'm in Portland, Oregon. The 9th, I'm in Bend, Oregon. The following weekend, the 15th and 16th of November, I'm at the Comedy Plex in Oak Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. It's a new club. Come on out. Let's keep a new club open. You know, let's fill it up and have some fun and kick it off and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm taking a little. I'll be home for the holidays for Thanksgiving, and then
Sure, you're not a monster.
December. Well, now. December 12th, I'm in San Diego at the Mic Drop, and December 13th and 14th, I'm at the Mic Drop in Chandler, Arizona. December 26th and 27th, I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina at the Dead Crow, and I think I'm going to stick around New York for New Year's Eve and just do some spots.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this Friday, the 1st, starting November 1, I have 24 days of almost nonstop stand-up comedy. Pittsburgh, doing an extra set at Cafe Conmigo. It's actually Wexford, right outside of Pittsburgh. The Saturday, the 2nd, I'm doing the chipped ham. Chipped ham, you guys. People of Pittsburgh love chipped ham. It's the Chipped Ham Comedy Festival, November 2nd. The 3rd through the 6th, I'm with Maria in Canada. So on 11/3, or as they would say, 3 of November, I'm at the River Run Center in Ontario. Catherine's, Partridge Hall, Oakville Center for the Performing Arts, Richmond Hill Center for the Performing Arts, all over, essentially around Toronto, but not in Toronto. And this is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of November.
That'll be
7th,
awesome.
Yeah, the 7th of November, I'm back in the United States. Vermont Comedy Club, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. You love it. You did it this year sometime,
Yes.
right?
And then I left, instead of lingering an extra day, I went down to this cellar early to be non-passed again by Esty. Remember? Oh,
right,
my God.
Right. Oh, that's right.
You know what? Linger. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I'm staying an extra day because Darla and my niece are coming to look at the college.
Oh, Bennington?
Yeah, Burlington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Bennington up there too? Bennington
no,
College?
I think it's the actual Vermont College of
University of Vermont at Burlington.
Vermont. Yes, something like that. And then so on the 11th, I go back to Canada because on the 12th, I'm in Hamilton. If you live anywhere near Toronto, Buffalo, wherever Hamilton, Canada is, Ontario, feel free to fill that room because I believe I've sold 70 tickets and it seats about 300. So chop, folks, on the Hamilton gig. Then I'm staying a couple of days. On the 13th, I'm going a day early to Portland, Maine. And in Portland, because I'm doing the 14, 15, 16 at the Empire Club in Portland, Maine. And then I'm going to drive to Albany, New York, to see my buddy Joe Wilson, who used to host the Dork Forest with, who now lives in Albany, New York. And so I might pick up a set. You don't know. The Albany Funny Bone doesn't book me. But I might do a free set for them. That's what I'm like. Then I'm going to fly on the 20th. I'm going to fly to Albany to meet Maria in Milwaukee. And so we're doing a run in Rockford, Illinois, Madison, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm just opening for her. That's also on my website, all of that stuff. And then I come home on the 24th, you guys. Of November.
This is all November?
This
oh my God.
November. And then December 2nd, we're doing Flappers again. And then I'm on the road with
We are?
Yeah.
Oh,
December 2nd. December 4, 5, 6, and 7, I'm with Brian Regan in Florida. December 13, 14, and 15, I'm doing Chicago, The Den with Maria. And then December 17, 18, 19. Wait, nope. Sorry about that. 19, 20, 21, I'm doing Dr. Grins in Michigan. And then it's 2025, and we can regroup closer to. So there you go. Now we both know things.
You know what? This idea of announcing our shows before the show, I don't want to do it anymore. Not when you have 15,000 more shows than I do. I just fucking did my taxes for the year while you're listing your November.
I told you 24 hours, but know in your heart that two things are happening. Well, one,
What?
I'm spending money to go visit my buddy Joe. That's because he's good egg. He's got the cancer. So he's living in what he calls overtime.
So this is how you're cheering me up, is telling me you're losing money and your friend has cancer? You think that makes me feel better?
Is that anything? Is that going to help? No?
Kind of. A little bit.
Kind of, a little bit. Should I brag about the Dork Forest being in the New York Times?
Oh, Jackie, can I just say both of us had weeks that were not mundane for either of us. And
right.
It also affected our loved ones also had striking weeks. Let's put it that way, right?
Yes.
I mean, you had
a lot.
Okay, just go.
Okay,
yes.
Well, the Dork Forest, I'll just do that. Just work stuff first. Dork Forest came out of the blue. Jesse Thorne, the guy who founded Max Fun, texted me and said, "Hey, go look at this." And then I said, "Hey, I'm going to have to ask my sister if I can get behind the paywall at the New York Times." It's because there's an article that are essentially 7 inspiring hobby podcasts that inspire people to get a new hobby. The Dork Forest, number one, first one. Mm-hmm. And the episode they recommend is the Jesse Thorne episode. Though they also talked about Brandy Brown's crop art episode and Aldrin Cornejo's fidget
spinner.
One. Yeah. He likes fidget spinners.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm spacing the third, and that person will no doubt find me and put a pillow on my face. But Dork Forest, pretty good. I'm looking forward to looking at the numbers. Tomorrow's episode is ridiculous. It's paper wigs.
It's paper. I saw a picture of the paper wigs that you somehow it was maybe on your feed. And I was like, those are cool looking. I mean,
this woman does
would
daily
I
art.
Devote my life to them? No, I wouldn't.
No, and she can't not. She told me, she said, I have a compulsion to create art every day, and I don't sell it, and I don't want to sell it, but I have a compulsion to show it to people too. And I said, that sounds medical, and for the first time, I have no problem believing that, and I don't have a medical degree. But the art is gorgeous, and the paper wigs are amazing.
Yeah,
and she just. It's a good episode. It would have come out yesterday when this comes out on Wednesday. So
yeah.
So what's your grade?
Okay. So last Wednesday.
Right.
I'll just talk about my Wednesday. So my son has their league final water polo, right?
That's right.
So the first at the home game a couple weeks ago, we lost to our crosstown rivals.
Right, the Armenians. Yes.
You said it, not me, Jackie. Not in these Tony Hinchcliffe times am I identifying anybody.
That douchebag's name. What a nozzle.
Okay. And so even though one of the kids punching, but the rest didn't call it, that's fine. Okay. So we lost. So we had another game against them, just because of the way the brackets were, to get into the finals of the league finals, and we beat them handily by like 6 goals.
That's it.
Great, because we had different refs, we were a different pool. So the league final, because of the brackets, it's us against them again the next week.
Oh my God, 3 times.
So we're 1 goal behind almost the whole time. Like, we just keep catching up, and then they get ahead. And I'm telling you, the parents, me, screaming.
Yeah, I see it in
like,
my mind.
Unbelievable. My son took a 5 meter and blocked it. There was 5 meter is a penalty shot,
Okay.
And they're really hard to block because you got the whole cage you got to watch.
Yep.
But my son's like, oh, I know this guy. This guy always goes to the left.
One side.
So
yeah.
my son, he leaned to the right a little bit to let the guy think he had the left open. And then he just went over and grabbed it. It was fucking awesome. And then he had another save that was like incredible. And he had a lot of other saves, but there's two where we're like, what? And then in the last quarter, we got 2 goals ahead and we won. And it was
awesome.
the whole team jumped in the pool. The coaches jumped in the like it was one of those celebrations, right?
Right.
And so
it's so weird because water polo, everyone would jump in the pool.
Of course, yeah. I mean, people in suits are jumping in the pool and stuff like that. And then so now they're in now because they won that they're in another like a SoCal division finals, right?
Oh, great, right.
So tomorrow, which Tuesday night, the 29th, they're playing a team in Irvine, and we have to drive to Irvine.
Sure.
Now we start playing teams with foreign swimmers on them. Like,
oh, not just all like LA kids.
Yeah, like high school, like let's say kids from Serbia who want to or are going to be on the Serbian Olympic team and play professionally in Eastern Europe, but they want to go to school in the States. We used to have swimmers like that would just come and they'd just come and live with a family for like a year when I was on I mean not my family but others, right?
Right.
And so now we're up against like professional, high school water polo players. So we'll see how it goes. But I want to see every game. Every game as soon as they lose from here on out, the water polo is done for my son. So I want to see every game, right? So I'm going to drive down I was going to fly to New York tomorrow morning, but instead I'm going to take the red eye out of LAX and I'm just going to go to Irvine, watch the game, and then drive to LAX.
Oh, nice.
And if they advance, they have another game on Halloween. I'll miss that one. I was trying to figure out a way to do that, but I can't. I'd have to like leave at 6 a.m. and fly to DC, and it's too exhausting. And it's a layover. I'd be stressed and worried the entire day that I wouldn't get there on time.
Right. You'll see the video.
Yeah. If he goes, but my son's already like, he goes, this is my last Halloween. I don't want to spend it playing water polo. He goes, I'm going to do my best, but I hope we lose. I'm like, look, do your best, please.
It is not your last Halloween. Are you kidding? Andy has spent days.
Does he trick or treat?
No, we give out toys. We don't.
No, he wants to trick or treat. I go, you can go when you're 19. That's the other thing. He turned 18 on Sunday.
Right. I texted him happy birthday, and I said, there's no texting too late when you're 18. You can just text somebody in the night until eventually you're in your 30s and go, stop texting me after 10. I'm going to bed.
So he had like four friends come over, and then 2 more came over, and he barbecued and grilled and smoked meat, and just made a ton of meat, and corn on the cob.
He had a meat birthday. He had a meat birthday.
He had a meat day. Yeah, and it was really chill and fun, and my friend Cheryl came out, even though it's hard for her to leave, get out, and she made the effort, which we really appreciated, and she came out and hung out, and so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And and so in fact, I had a set at the Kookaburra on Saturday. So it was the last night he was 17.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in the green room with me. And the green room's really cool. And, and I was like, you want to go? And he's like, no, I want to hang out. I'm like, all right. He never wants to hang out at Comedy Club. And then a woman came in the green room who kind of knew one of the comics, I guess. And she was talking to my son, and she was, talking about college. Her kids are at Pepperdine or whatever. And so she's at least in her 40s, right?
Yeah.
And then as I'm like, is he listening? As we're driving home, he goes, that woman I was talking to, she was beautiful. I was like, all right, slow down. Just because you're about to not be a minor, you know what? Should we pull over and get you a vasectomy now? Jeez.
Right. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, it's he's an adult.
Yeah.
And then did you guys vote?
Today we voted. We
And
voted this
today you voted?
afternoon. Yeah. He
Nice work.
registered. We voted in person, and he, went to the actual booth and all that kind of stuff, the little polling center.
Oh, good.
It's full of old people who don't know how to use the iPad, so everything you're like, I could, whatever you're typing, I could do in 30 seconds. But you know what?
Right.
You're the one that volunteered, and I'm not going to tell you how to do it, and that's fine.
They chose to help and be
Yes.
repping at the
Yeah. And so yeah, that was cool. And also we were going over the ballot and different, measures and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
there's a couple of like bonds for public schools.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've seen what my public school does with their money. No. So he voted against them. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you a
Just happened
Republican?
there? Yeah, he doesn't understand that there's no property taxes, and that the bonds are the only way in California anybody can pay for anything.
You can't tell him anything.
And
He's
no.
like, I've seen the school. They got money and they painted the outside, and there's fucking, you still can't even get soap out of the soap dishes in the bathroom. And I'm like, yeah, they probably fucked up, but starving them more doesn't help. But you know what? It's just he can't vote like me on every single thing, right? So I'm like, that's fine, whatever.
It's and it just, I'm psyched he voted. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
It's and then the thing that happened was Andy's mama passed away. My mother-in-law passed away, and we voted before she passed away. It's the last picture I took of her.
Wow.
Was the three of us with our stickers that said I voted. And she was psyched. She was psyched to get to vote. And Andy, I didn't say anything last week because I wanted Andy to post first. Obviously it's his mother.
Yeah.
It's his thing.
Of course.
And it's been super weird. But the good news is, you have been these last 2.5 years. We have talked about me living with her and having issues, and and there's no. She essentially passed away in her own bed, in our house, in her home, and she wasn't scared. I think she was pissed. But she was not afraid.
Yeah.
Or she wasn't, like in the hospital and in the rehab center, she would be really disoriented and really not know what was going on.
Right.
So unlike Friday was the last day she could walk. And then on Saturday, she made it to the bathroom with both of us helping her. And Andy came out of the bedroom Saturday and he goes, she won't talk to me. And sure, her underwear, she's got it, and she won't let me touch her. And I go, okay. And he goes, this was specifically the thing that you said you didn't want to do. And I said, yeah, that was 2.5 years ago. It's fine. It'll be fine. And so I go in, and she says, the last conversation I think we had is she goes, I don't want this to be your last memory of me. And I said, it won't be. I plan on banishing this memory as soon as it's over, and only remembering the good stuff, and the good. I mean, the thing is, and I've been working on a bit about it, is that all three of us have been on our best behavior for the last 2.5 years. She, I think, was raised to be on her best behavior, so she has always been very polite, and super, has always said thank you, and has always said, I've been very grateful for all your help. Every night she said it, and she also raised Andy like that. So, like, amazing. I've never seen parenting like this, and to see it up close was amazing. And all of us, and she would make jokes, and she would try to do stuff. Got your flowers. The joke on your flowers was hilarious because I'm gonna post it on Instagram just because it was so great. And it was just about me watching comedy specials finally, and that was her legacy. Was that so
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be anyone's proudest legacy?
right. And she, and so on Sunday she was pretty much comatose, and it was harder, and we don't know how to do it. It turns out it is a learned. So Sunday night was the first night the home care came back for an overnight, and the woman who came, a woman named Vivian, literally in 15 minutes had cleaned and changed and done all these, and not a problem. It was Andy had to hold his mom up a little bit at one point, but didn't have to get into it. And we had gotten into it earlier that day, and it was hard. But so it was like, and then hospice came the next day, and just so I know that you're a safety mouse, so let me just say, all the drugs are gone. There's no drugs in my house. Everyone should know that there are no drugs. But it was so funny that the hospice nurse was like, well, I can send over some morphine. And Andy said, well, I think they left some when there was people here last time, but I don't know where it is. And I said, I do. It's like the telltale heart. I can hear it at all times. And and so we found it, and they took it all. I took the rest of it to Rite Aid, to the lockbox. And but it was, I mean, it was, she passed. Of course, everybody is born or dies at 4 a.m, right? Or 2 a.m. It's never, hey, we slept in, and then we,
Oh, right.
yeah. And so, we've been doing a lot of paperwork, and it felt like it felt like it happened 2 months ago, and also that it just happened, right?
Right.
Like, it was just such a weird sense of time and space. So, I was telling Andy, I was like, well, I have to figure out the tense of of stand up now, like the jokes. I'm still doing them. And, and I could tell really honestly, because there were times when because we're packed so quick in here, right? So tight.
Yeah.
That there were times that I was mad about it. And
yeah, naturally.
yeah. And so when I started writing those jokes where she got the best punchlines, I was like, finally acceptance. And then of course she passes away. And I'm like, you could have left me with another 15 minutes. But nope. God, now I just got to write it from scratch. So be it. Anyway, so that everyone's been incredibly supportive and really nice, and, trying to figure stuff out. And I'm glad that I was home because of COVID. I had canceled those 2 weeks of work.
Oh, yeah. Wild.
So I was home. And then I was home this week. And then now I leave for 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks.
Wow.
And then I'm back for a week, and then I'm gone for another 2 weeks. So he's already set up a bunch of sort of he's got a couple of games in production, in playtest. So he's set up a couple of playtests and stuff like that. And so he's got friends. So
heavy week.
A lot of, and we were so exhausted that we didn't really realize until his cousin, who in many ways is a lot, but she lives in Mississippi. She unfriended me on Facebook years ago.
Politics.
Yeah. And her daughter didn't. And but she said that, because there's been so much sort of home care that we've done with Chris, the reason that it just, like, the exhaustion is just us catching up, on the sleep of that. And it's true. I went to bed at 8 o'clock. The first 4 nights we went to bed at 8.
Wow.
And then 10. And then I think last night was the first night I went to bed at 11. Yeah. Oh, I did a set, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you couldn't do the night after she passed.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And Andy went to work the next day too. He was like, should I go to work? And I was like, yeah, you need the distraction. Unless you want to not. I think you might
I
it
mean,
might be good for you.
it's
Yeah.
so strange when the person lived with you,
Mhm.
and you're just, even if it was tight quarters and stuff, you're just used to moving around them and them being a presence, and then
Yep.
like they're not. It's really strange for a while.
Yeah. And it is exactly that. That's exactly what it is. So, but so I went and I did former comic of the week, Brittany Ross.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Have you done the gig yet?
I don't think I have. I canceled because it was my son's that game, that one
Oh, that game,
game.
because he got
Yeah,
into that game.
yeah.
The house, I don't know what is happening there. She's very, I got to see some of her set before I had to go do another set over in Glendale at a movie theater. But Augie came with me, Augie Smith.
Oh, cool.
And as we walked up, I did not get a laugh. I got a polite laugh. The house was big. It was in the hills
Hmm.
and it was very large. And I just said, was this at one time a historic black college? It looked like a public building.
Mm.
It looked like a public library. It looked like it was enormous, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And I did not. I mean, you did the polite comic laugh. I get it. And but
No.
I didn't even get that from her. So
I'm actually quite tired, and so I was just shifting
that's fine.
uncomfortably. I have great travel anxiety. I'm realizing that the day or two before travel, I get really worried about a bunch of stuff. And so
Okay.
now I'm really just worried about it. So it's been affecting me all day. So it's not,
Right.
I'm
Stress.
listening, but
Yeah.
I'm also just not comfortable in my skin. I really want to crawl out of my skin right now.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too
Mhm.
bad. Yeah. I
Yeah.
call it my Asperger's hump, but I'm sorry to hear it. Yeah, I gotta pack for a 3-week run where I'm not coming home,
Wow.
and I'm bringing merch, but I'm not going to be able to sell merch in Canada,
Right.
which is fine. But I worry about them being mad that I'm going to take it through customs twice.
Oh, you don't have a place to store it in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's a weird one.
Yep.
That's a weird problem.
Yep.
I mean, are they going to be looking at it? Are they, when you come
I
in,
don't
they're not
think
going to
so.
search your bag.
Well, sometimes they do.
Really? Yeah, maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but yeah, so I did that, and then I did the movie theater in Glendale, and Augie went up in Glendale. He's very funny. And then I picked up a set last minute. Andy
Mhm.
Erickson needed somebody for her friend's show at the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that last night. That was just a 7:30, 7:45 set.
That's cool.
And I was talking to Helen Hong last night because I was like, didn't we do Puerto Rico together? And she was like, yeah, it was you, me, Vargas, and Lisa Alvarado.
Oh, wow.
And I was, yeah, we did a couple of Coast Guard stations. I remember it for many reasons. First of all, how beautiful it was, because Puerto Rico is beautiful.
Yeah.
And second of all, that Vargas made me headline the show where there were children. And that will haunt you.
Them and you.
Yes.
I had a crazy on Friday.
Yeah.
I had my first spot was at the West Side. Second
Okay.
spot's at the Comedy Store. Third spot's at Flappers. And
oh my gosh.
So the West Side, I switched. I got up a little bit earlier, and I left immediately. Got to the store with like 10 minutes to spare. Okay, fine. Did
Nice
my set.
work.
Oh, saw our comic of the week, and I'm like, who the fuck's this? So and then got I finished my set, and then got to Flappers, and I was on a 9:30 show, which so I knew it was a Yoo-hoo. So I pulled up. There was parking, pretty close up front because it was close to 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I bet this show didn't. I bet it's over. And I walked into the Yoo-hoo. I walked right to the lineup. I'm like, am I on this thing? Because I couldn't remember if I'd confirmed or not. And And Josh was right there, and he goes, "You are, and you're next. You're going up right after me." And then he went up on stage, and I saw him tell the MC, I guess they're going to end the show or something. I'm not really sure. But then I went, but I was like, wow, everything was in the nick of time.
That is in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Let's do the comic of the week. What the heck?
Shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so her name is Kelly Ryan. I think she's from Austin. She's really funny. I just saw like the last couple minutes of her set, but she was crushing. And then I watched some of her stuff on Instagram, and she's really funny.
What's her handle?
What is it?
This is Kelly Ryan.
Yeah.
KELLYRYAN.
I wonder if we're related. My
years,
mother's
she is a
maiden
personal
name was
favorite.
Ann Ryan.
Ooh.
So probably not. Kelly Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, very funny. And Jackie, my I think several generations back, I'm a Ryan as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. All right. I think it's pretty common, the name Ryan.
It is. It's like bragging about being a Murphy, but still, you never know.
Yeah, you can't. No way to tell. No way to tell, and certainly not in my family. It's we were hoping that we could claim Irish citizenship, but it turns out our grandfather was born in Darlington, Wisconsin, so can't be done.
Too bad.
So sad. And
that's
great. So find her. Yeah.
Yes, I got an offer so insulting that I just said I'm gonna pass.
Yeah.
Was like,
did you get it
how?
direct?
No, it came through my manager, and I was like, "How do you think I would make any money doing this? I just want to hear your math. If you look at your offer, how do you see me not losing money
leaving
here
with any amount of cash?
Right.
It's so true. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, whatever.
You can't tell. It's really hard to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I will say that I booked some of this November back when there wasn't any work, right?
You were panicking. I remember. You're like,
yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to take stuff, and then he found me stuff, and then other people asked me to open for him. So that's what ended up working out for filling this month and next. And that's cool. It's I took the animals, to get them all groomed, right? The day after Chris passed. And it was the first time I was sad. I mean, besides any, I was like,
Yeah.
God dang it. Because I took her cat, and the cat had not been, like, she used to brush the cat every day. The cat looked like a feral cat. And so it took them so long to clean this cat. But the cat had so much fur on her, they made a fake cat out of just her fur that looked so creepy and Halloween-y that I was like, please send me a picture of that. And yeah. And then Maria sent us little pies, like weird from Zingerman's.
Oh,
you know how
nice.
Zingerman's you can, yes.
In Ann Arbor?
Yeah, in Ann Arbor. Yeah, that they have a mail order that's pretty great. And so just little, just little pies. People kept talking about bringing food over, and I was like, we don't have kids. We're fine.
Yeah.
But I genuinely appreciate everybody's been incredibly nice. And do you want to talk about the elephant in the room? The douche nozzle?
Before Julie Seabaugh, who frequently writes about comedy and does documentaries and did the 9/11 documentaries, doing one on Mark Maron, she interviewed me and some other comics about politicians doing podcasts, and kind of, Trump did Andrew Schultz's and Theo Vaughn's and obviously Rogan, and it's kind of weird. It's been really weird to just see this merging of these two worlds, And so we, I had some quotes in there, but they reference the Jackie and Laurie show. I was called a podcaster, which I would like to complain about. I have a podcast that I do reluctantly. I am not a podcaster. I am a stand-up comic.
I think Kyle and I will both back you up and say that you are not a podcaster.
Stay out of our club.
so that came out sort of independently, but
Do you think that do they blame Marin for the fact that Obama was on it?
No, Obama was on after he was running. After he was
Okay.
at the end of his term. It was kind of like a
Oh.
wrap up. Yeah.
Okay, and then what about wasn't Harris on a couple
No,
last week too?
no,
Or
she wasn't on any stand-ups. She was on like Call Her Daddy, which is she's not whoever Alex Cooper is. She's not a stand-up,
okay,
but she's
Good.
and Club Shay Shay and Charlemagne's she did something with Charlemagne. I don't think it was a Breakfast Club, but
okay.
But so I think every comic's been like obsessed with the last 24 hours. Just like, what on earth? Is it possible that a stand-up comedian is going to change the presidential election and the course of the earth, honestly?
The course of history, yes.
Yes.
That makes
Very
it sound
easily.
like he saved us.
That I think that would be the most surprising thing. You don't think that the Tappity Tap Tap, that name, that he doesn't want credit?
I have no idea what it's like. I can't imagine having that sort of worldwide condemnation coming at you, no matter how much of a narcissist you are or a racist or whatever you are. Having all that come at you must be shocking. I have no idea what's going on in that brain. But just the fact that like that you would just do like roasty kind of jokes at a political rally, and not realize this is not the audience.
This isn't pretend.
This is not a comedy show.
Yeah, this is not a roast.
So when like the media is going to start writing your jokes down, they're not going to say jokes. They're going to say remarks. They're going to say speech. They're going to, and they're going to treat it like any other speech. And now they're looking at what you meant to be jokes as declarations.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, this is an indictment. This is my biggest problem with roasts in general, because when you look at the history of fucking roasts, it was people who knew each other, loved each other,
right,
mocking each other.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Ross and his dumb self, that's right, I said it, turned it into a cash cow where it was just the meanest comics that he could find, making fun of each other, and then turned it into a cash cow where then they would just find someone who was willing to sit through it, and then it turned into like roast battles and roast this and roast that, and it became this justification to say the meanest thing that wasn't necessarily and I'm not saying that there aren't great jokes that weren't written. Obviously there are great roast jokes that we both heard and laughed. I have laughed. There was the roast battle that whatever, but
the roast battles they do know each other,
They barely know each other. They don't know each other as well as Sinatra
and Dean Martin. Yeah.
Yes. Right?
Right.
Which was where it came from. And the point and purpose of it is not what Dean Martin and Sinatra were trying to do either.
Yeah.
It literally is to say the meanest thing, that you can think of. And Nikki Glazer's very good at it. And
brilliant.
Right. There's people that are really, really good at it. And I've even heard just one off, and Boast Rattle came out of it, and that's something that's even harder to do than roast battle. But so that guy came out of that roast thing and his show, right? That Tony thing, whatever.
Kill Tony.
Yeah. That's sort of a like three guys walk into a bar and then they try to be funny and the panel makes fun of them, right?
I've
never seen it or heard it.
I've seen like clips. the comics wait in an alley and then they get called in. I mean, it sounds like a lot of like horrible stuff we all go through in the beginning, where you
But
look back
not
and you're like, why was I
televised.
treated like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it is what it is,
Recorded.
and the
Mhm.
comics put up with it, and the audience likes. I mean, it's its own thing, fine.
Right. And
It
right.
makes a lot of
And so
money, and people
well,
like it.
and that's what it's turned into, though. But
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
But it came from something very specific, and
Right.
it has turned into this thing, which
Mhm.
is why when he goes to essentially open for Knob Job, he's just gonna do his act, and he's gonna and all of the and both the person who we texted with, which I don't understand, and I've seen it from other comics and other credible sources of comedy. So that these jokes were vetted and they were all on the teleprompter.
That is so crazy to me.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's the other thing. It's like you're telling jokes to people who aren't expecting jokes, and I mean, let's say anyone who puts on a Trump hat and goes to a Trump rally. I mean, there are Trump supporters that maybe aren't complete idiots, but to go to that level of devotion to Donald Trump, you are real dumb. So
right.
you're telling jokes to dumb people, and those people, I'm going to say 90 to 98% of them are racist. So if you're telling race-based jokes to dumb racists, they're not going to even know it's a joke. They're going to be like, yeah, Puerto Rico is a trash island. Right?
Right.
And now
right.
it looks like you as a comic, like now it looks like you are heading, you're leading a rally. And I don't know what he intended. I have no idea. I don't know him, but it was just like such a bad idea. And
right.
for him to say yes to it, for them to think it would work. But it might actually move the needle. But that's also crazy to me. Like, of all the horrible things, that one joke would move the needle so much that he might lose the
Marcella
election.
was talking on Thread. She was like, the craziest thing is that there's still people of Latin ancestry who are going to vote for him.
Totally.
And
yeah.
So, but it's you can't know what anything affects any of these people. They have flags up in their yards that say, "I'm voting for the felon." So
I know. So why would a joke be the thing? But I mean, you never know. It's the timing of it, who the target was, I guess. But
but I have seen some pretty great threads, some pretty great lines. Steve Hofstetter had one, and Steve Hofstetter has had a storied career.
Yes.
He was the guy who first started doing those essentially crowd work clips. It was 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And it was, and I wouldn't have, and I didn't know his politics. I mean, for me, and I don't think that I'm breaking any ground here by saying that Steve Hofstetter has always been a bit of a button pusher. But I like that he's using his button pushing powers for good.
Sure.
Yeah. And it is what I'm trying to I would love to find it.
Well, while you're
I
looking, I will tell you that an Austin comic told me that Tony has done that Puerto Rico joke for a long time. It's a road set. It's part of his road set, like it's just stand-up act. And he I guess he tags it with like I guess of a Puerto Rican, something about a Puerto Rican being there and hearing the joke and getting shanked, and I'm like, it's just
and attacking him afterwards for doing it.
But a lot of it's also like the
kind of a save.
The racist tropes are really old as well. Watermelon, shank,
right?
Like, if you're going to be racist or do race-based comedy, you need to constantly be updating. Please
write.
It's
what we'd like from our racist brothers.
Don't be hacky and racist. Pick one and lean into it, but not both. It's unacceptable at that point.
Yeah, so I reposted this thread comment of Hofstadter's. Imagine bombing so hard you turn Texas into a swing state. That's very funny. And so, yeah. And
Oh, someone, oh God, I forgot who did, Zach Reinhardt, I think, is something like Netanyahu called Tony and congratulated him on bombing civilians.
wow.
You take another break after that?
Sure.
Yep. Well, so I'm vaguely exhausted, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Just emotionally kind of drained. I feel like I did as much as I could with what I liked about Chris living with us is that even when I was trying to deal with the fact that it didn't feel it felt so much work that even when I wasn't happy about it, that it didn't bleed over into her, like I didn't act like a jerk to her. I vented slightly to you. And then I wrote jokes about it that were not too mean, I don't think. And there's potential there. I don't know. I've done stand up, I guess, 3 times since, and the tense doesn't seem to be changing. Like it's like I'm not implying that she's dead. And
you don't have to.
I don't think I do. So I don't know. Yeah. I also because I've only done stand up probably 6 times in the last 4 weeks because I was sick in Bakersfield.
Right.
And then I've
Jackie,
been home.
I can't believe how horrible this month has been.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot this month.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. And yeah. So yeah, because I was also trying to think, am I also tired because of long COVID, right? And then and so because I still have a cough, which is annoying. And yeah. But the journey continues, and I think we did the best we could. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you gave her the last 2.5 years of her life would have been very different had she not lived with you. She probably would have fallen in her own home, and she would have been alone, and no one would have been there to help her. Okay,
Right.
and you guys, old person proofed your home. And you gave her a place, and it's awkward to move into a smaller. It's hard. It's hard for them
It was
to do
hard
that.
for her.
Yes.
Yeah, that was part of the thing.
Loss of
just
independence. They don't know where they're driving. And they're too old to pick up a new city.
Right.
That's one lesson I learned from my mom. I want to move to my final city when I'm 75, and get it in my head at the last couple years I have it, so that I can run out and just do little grocery runs and stuff like that.
Right. So there can be errands.
Then, like you said, like you gave her a good death. Like she got to die at home. My mom died. She was, as you said about Chris, when she was in these places, very disoriented and unhappy in rehab, and then died in a hospital. She was in a coma in the hospital. So her last memories are being disoriented in rehab. And it's really awful. And Chris's are not, and I even think the memory of her that you swear you're going to banish, of her asking you, saying she doesn't want this to be your last memory, is actually very sweet. And you should not banish that, and you won't, because it's a very sweet thing to say. And it's a wonderful last thing to say to somebody, an awareness of what's happening, and hoping that she is more than these last moments to you.
Yes. And just, I mean, literally just the fact that she was she had this courtesy, everyone her age, even everyone our age, women wise, are raised to not be burdens, and she knew that it was hard, sometimes with her. And especially, she couldn't do maybe the first 6 months she lived with us, she could wash a dish, she could feed the cat, she could, make a sandwich, though, not in and out of that a little bit. But for the last year, she couldn't do it, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe year and a half. No, year and a half, because when she went to the hospital last November, I thought she was done. And then she came home and she was on hospice. And Andy was like, it's like palliative hospice, though. It's not full. And they brought her back essentially from, I think, because I thought again that might have been it. And she lived another 8 months. So
Jackie, how many more comedy specials does she get to watch because they brought her back?
so many comedy specials. And then Andy drove her up to like Fran's Brothers Memorial in Salem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember that? And then we took her up to Oroville, and that's where she'll be buried. She's being cremated, and we have Fran's ashes, and they have a plot next to Fran's mom up in Oroville.
Aw.
So yeah,
That's nice.
So we're gonna do a little service, I think, next spring.
Oh, that's really
So,
nice.
Yeah, because most of their, that's where they met. That's where they raised their kids. That's where most of their good friends ended up, being and stuff. So I think it's got a lot of potential. So that's but I do like that. And I've been working on this new joke that I'm going to keep doing, and it's just about sort of getting older and asking for help, and it's working. And then the dogs continue to provide stand-up comedy. So
how which dog was Chris's?
Tyson, the one who's gone blind.
Oh,
the one that likes Kyle.
One of my best friends in the world.
Yeah, poor Tyson. And but he's figured out where everything is. But when we rearrange, we don't know what we're gonna do.
Right.
Like furniture wise, I was talking to my sister, and I was like, well, I have an idea of what to do with and Darla was like, why don't you let him drive the bus here? It's been 12 hours. So why don't you not clean things up and donate all of her stuff? So the only thing I really did was I got rid of all the drugs because I didn't need them hanging over my head. What am I, Florence Nightingale, and I should keep all the, just in case somebody needs a blood thinner? What's happening? And
sure.
So.
Yeah. My mom had a lot of Coumadin, I think it's called, that I had to get rid of. I kept it in the trunk of my car for like a year and a half. I don't know why. I keep things in the trunk of my car for way too long.
How's your car running? How's that car running?
Fine. Doing okay. Doing all right.
We now have 2 cars.
Oh.
We forgot to get her to sign over the title, so I don't know how to do it. But
estate of. It'll be the estate of Andy, because my mom's car is it's not even my car. It's called the estate of, and her name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When you get it,
well then,
yeah, you can go get it changed at the DMV, but I don't.
Well, I mean, it's either that or I have to find one of my people and just forge her name and they'll buy it.
That's right.
But that's not going to happen. So it'll be fine. I'm watching an amazing show. We've just been trying to watch something light.
Yeah.
And Darla turned us on to this show on Netflix called Culinary Class Wars.
Oh, yeah?
And it is it looks like Squid Game, but it's real. And it's it's essentially 20 silver spoons and 100 black spoons. And the silver spoons are famous chefs.
I saw the opening
Korean.
to that. Yeah.
The sets are amazing. The sets, it looks like Squid Game.
Oh my God.
And Andy won't watch it dubbed. He can't face it. He's like, let's just hear their voices talking.
Oh, I love it. Yes, that's my favorite way. I hate dubbed. Yes.
Yeah, we watched The Boy and the Blue Heron. No, The Boy and the Heron.
Oh yeah.
And I have to say it was good, but it's not my favorite Miyazaki. And it was also dubbed. Like they didn't have it. We didn't get a chance to see it.
There's
subtitled.
There's an hour-long that we went and saw in the theater that's coming out, I think on Amazon Prime pretty soon, called Look Back. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's
anime or
yeah, it's anime.
Okay.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. And then
Yeah.
Agatha All Along is extraordinary this season. You know, first of all, they
Oh, I
shot
thought
it
it was a
before
movie. No.
No, it's a spin-off of WandaVision. It's a Marvel thing, but it is so good. It's so. Are you watching it, Kyle?
I am not. I've not seen much of nothing in the last month or so.
Oh,
except for
fair
The
enough.
Substance. Everyone go see The Substance.
No, did not see the substance. Well,
Not
you've
except
probably
for
just been
me,
staring
everybody but
deeply
you.
into Halloween. I bet. Have you been going to a lot of Halloween stuff?
I have. I've been to quite a few. Mostly just
Kyle's
the-
Dork
the-
Forest is about Halloween stuff,
I
or
like
one of
people
them.
Oh.
jumping out and startling me in a controlled environment. Throw some fun theatrics over that, and I'm having a theater kid fantasia.
Well, congratulations. Well, you seem to be yawning a lot, and do you have an early flight? Is that what's happening?
No, Jackie, I already told you. I'm taking the red eye after I watch a water polo game.
That's right. That's right. I don't know how I missed it.
That's where we started.
That's why, because it was 55 minutes ago. And but I will say that so I've been in the garage, first of all, trying to unbury my bike, because now I can go biking and again, and but I've been too tired for the last 6
Take
days.
it easy, Jackie.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't bike yet. You're about to embark on a lot of physical work of just getting to gigs. Just please
Right.
save biking for December or January.
Right, January.
Okay.
Well, here's the weird thing: is that my December and January are weird as well. But
Well,
but I do like the bike, and it was a gift.
no one's saying you're not
Yeah.
liking the bike. Just you don't want to trigger long COVID, and you're already doing stuff. Don't do extra unnecessary
Right.
stuff. Okay.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. You're not wrong. It's and plus I do love sitting around.
Jackie,
So-
please. Yeah.
It's one of
Treat
the things
yourself
I'm
to
really,
yourself.
It's really good. I've got, like, tomorrow is one of my favorite things. Augie and his wife Julie, we're all going out for breakfast. We're gonna go for a little breakfast.
That's
I can eat-
cool.
Are you cold?
Can we end this? I'm cold. I'm yawning. I have a headache, and I
We
want to
gotta get
crawl
this
out of my
lady outta
skin.
here.
All right. Don't forget to vote, everybody.
Yeah.